right into it because it was terrible. It's, of course, Monday morning. I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but it happened to me this morning, and I did not like it. It was not a pretty sight. Woke up in the morning, brushed my teeth, got my things ready, put my clothes on. Went to go get the coffee going, and, I have the Kruger machine and the pods. It came out. I put a little bit of cream and the sugar, mixed it up. Took the first sip before I get my keys and stuff to go to the house, and I just splatter everything out. I had put salt instead of sugar. It tasted so bad. Oh, I didn't like it whatsoever. And that's how I started my morning. And I was like, man, come on. It was like, it's going to be one of these days. Let me know. Bring me another sign. I'll call in sick. Because that's how I am. If one little thing goes wrong, I'm worried and terrified, like how the rest of the day is going to be. It's going to be good, it's going to be bad, but you got to make the best of it and do something different. If you had a normal routine and something goes wrong, change it up. Do a little bit of a mixture on there. So I had to stop and get my one and only favorite Celsius drink, orange flavor. It's the best. I love it. It tastes really good. Weekend. Nothing like not working on a Saturday, huh? If you work Saturday, then man, try to enjoy that one day, a half of a weekend, and make it up. Do everything you can on that Sunday. But I didn't work Saturday, and it was awesome. When you don't work Saturdays, you have a full weekend, and weekends are the best. After a long work week, weekend was great. Didn't really do much on Saturday, as it was just in and out rain. They said it was going to rain all day, which we all know here in Miami. They say it's going to rain, and it doesn't. They say 60%, and it doesn't. And then it comes, it goes. And I'm one of those guys where don't tease me with the rain. If it's going to rain, pour. Don't sprinkle here, stop, and then sprinkle there. So, because then you're, in my instincts, from my side, you're wetting everything in my backyard, so my kids can't go outside. So then we're screwed. He's got the electric truck, he's got the playground, the trampoline, he's got everything out there. And if you sprinkle enough to get it wet, then there goes that. We can't go outside. So if you're gonna rain, pour. So that's what was happening on Saturday, and we really much, didn't do much, but made the best of it. Hung out inside, got the puzzles out, got the board games, watched a little bit of TV, cuddled, hang out, ordered some food, did some grocery shopping. Man, it's getting expensive. The wife comes in. How much? $100, $150. Oh, okay. I'm thinking, she went in deep. Got a bunch of stuff. But when I start putting things away, I'm putting in 3 to 4 bags. I'm like, what did you get? No, I got this, that. And you start adding up. It's like, man, it's expensive. So you got to get into that thing where you try to shop around. I don't know, mix things up, get bundles here, bundles there, coupons there, coupons here, and do differences. Because if not, you're gonna be spending a pretty penny at that one location. Sunday came, and this is the best. I have a great little story to tell you about my son, my oldest. So I went to a buddy of mine's house. He's got a pool. He lives up in the Redlands, and he has a side-by-side. One of those big dune buggy things that are, for outdoors, and you could go mudding it in and have some good ass time. So we're driving, and he has 4 kids. He has 3 boys, and he just had a girl. Congratulations, 1 month old. I got to give it to him. So we take the 3 boys and my oldest. Good morning, Sly Dog. Thank you for coming in, baby. Love you lots. We take the 3 boys and my boy in this side-by-side, and we're, doing the trails, doing the things, having fun. And I'm looking back, just making sure, he's got his seatbelt on, and he's just, my son could be, through the worst pain in life, which I got to run up another story in a couple of episodes of what happened to him, but it could be in the worst pains of life, and he's smiling ear to ear. My oldest is just doesn't care. So he's out there having a good time, and then, I catch myself, I haven't looked back. So when I glance back one last time, the kid fell asleep. How do you fall asleep on a side-by-side going up and down through hills, bumps, and everything? What in the world? He fell asleep on that side-by-side. And I guess it's because, with my oldest, the pool wears him out. He loves going in the pool. And that's what it is. The pool wears these kids out. And then we went on the side-by-side after. And I guess, with the pool running around and being so tired, he fell asleep. But I'm just thinking to myself, and then fall asleep? You gotta love him, man. He fell asleep on that thing, and I was just laughing. It was pretty funny. But, we hung out in the pool, and he must have been like 2 years old or 2.5 when he started learning how to swim. And he respects the water a lot. I don't have a pool. My mother-in-law has a pool, so she had bought that fence that wraps around. And I recommend it highly, especially when, right before 1 year old, when they start crawling, because you never know, that back door opens with nobody noticing, and you could have an accident. I think it's the number one death, if you ask me, if you research it, with babies, is drowning. So highly recommend you have a pool by that fence, no doubt about it. But he loved the pool. He was about 2, like I said, when he learned how to swim. And he respects the water. As soon as you get him to teach to swim, to the wall. And now, not even 4, he's in that pool without floaties, with me, of course, inside. But, he would dive in and just go straight to the wall or straight to the steps, But you want to wear your kids out, throw them in the pool. No doubt about it. And they will go to sleep early, and they will sleep for you, because pool just wears them out, with the sun, running around nonstop. And that's another thing too. The kid doesn't eat. They don't eat when they're in the pool having fun. I don't understand. It's like, us guys, we're drinking beers and stuff. We forget sometimes to eat. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, you gotta have chicken. No, I don't want chicken. I'm gonna have outside. Think I'm gonna have a beer. I don't know. Toys, water, this, that. And I'm like, well, have juice. They'll drink juice. At least stay hydrated. A couple chips here, then pa'lante. I don't understand. Me, I need food, bro. I need food to keep going. That's my gas. But con ellos, it's like, they're gonna keep going. And that's pretty much what we did Sunday, just the pool stuff, hanging out. He's about to be 5 months come the 1st of August, but he's like in these positions where he is already, launching himself forward. He's doing that first things, and I'm like, babe, when our oldest was at this age doing what he's doing, he was crawling. And so my oldest wasn't crawling until about 8 months, 8 or 9 months. I was discussing this with my wife last night, looking at photos, because that's how I go back. I'm horrible when it comes to, memories, long-term especially. So I look at my photo album, and I look at my first oldest to see look at the timestamp and date, and see what, date he was doing certain things with videos. So it was about 8 to 9 months old when my first was crawling. Dude, my youngest at 6 months crawling, for sure, no doubt about it. You'll see. I put bets on it, because he's launching himself forward. He's got the position going. I'm like, dude, 1 more month at 6 months, that boy's gonna be crawling. And you know what? It's a little bit of annoying too when he's trying to, he's turning over already. As soon as you put him down, and he wants to, he'll turn around, face down, real quick. I'm trying to change his diaper, and he's just constantly wanting to go to the right. I'm like, dude, babe, give me them handcuffs. Handcuff his legs to the freaking changing table so I can change his diaper. Because when he's got poop, and he's peeing, and he's flipping, it could be a disaster. Especially middle of the night, half asleep. That's the battle, It's the crawling. So I'm like, stay still. He doesn't want to stay still. He's a mover. He does. Ever since he was born, I was carrying him in the hospital, and he was already, I could like, dude, this is gonna be a moving baby. This guy's gonna be nonstop. He's gonna drive Alex crazy when he gets older. He definitely is, hands down. Crawl. You just gotta chase him. It's the funniest thing ever when they start crawling at that age, and you can call it. So we were talking about this last night. There's actually different names out there for crawling. I heard there's army crawl, there's the one leg crawl, and then there's no movement crawl, where it's like a worm. I've rarely seen it. I had to look it up. There's so many different types of crawl. I was like beyond amazed of how many different names of crawls you have. So mine is on an army crawl where he just, shrugs up his arms like this. I'm driving, so I really can't, let go of the steering wheel here, and it was just like that, army crawling. And I'm like, that's what he's got. He's gonna do it, He's at that point. All he has to do is just fluff. He's gone. And then, obviously after a year and 2 months comes the walking, and that's a wrap. A lot of parents like, I can't wait till. Yes, you can wait until he walks. I guarantee you that you can wait until he walks. Because once he starts walking, it's a wrap. Ask these guys out there, ask these dads and moms out there with kids at that age walking. They start getting into everything. They start opening up cabinets and touching this and touching that. I'm like, what are you doing? He's trying to get into this, trying to get into that. And that's when you have to buy these child safety locks for these cabinets, because if not, it could get a disaster. I remember one morning I woke up and from a nap that he was crawling out, and he's sitting there in front of the bottom cabinet of the stove, all pots and pans on the floor. I'm talking about big ones, small ones, little ones, utensils, everything was out. I'm like, we got to go and get locks. I remember that morning we went and we bought locks and we put them on everywhere. And of course, the outlet plugs, and if you have those corner tables, buy those little corner cushion things so they don't bump their heads into it. It's just a safety hazard you should do. But yeah, man, they start walking and crawling, and your life is over. And you gotta start chasing them and running around, and dude, they have. I just thought of this right now. They have their heads like hard as a freaking rock. I'm looking at. Sometimes I bump. I'm like, I feel their pain. I'm sure my son has, knocked his head with the fucking, with the wall or a table, and it's just like you could hear them, and I'm like, and he's like, because it was about 7 to 8 months, I think Alex was, and it can happen, ladies and gentlemen, and don't feel bad, because it can happen. So as long as you take the perfect precaution, you're good. I guarantee you that. He fell off the bed at 8 months. So when he fell off the bed, of course, the crying happened. And sometimes they cry because they're scared or because it really hurts. You have to learn your son or daughter's cry. So, he bumped his head, and, my wife called me, and I hear the crying in the background. At that time, I was working close to home, so I happened to the truck. We went to the children's, and, we brought them in. They did some exams and everything. It was fine. And that's when we learned the front part of your baby's head is the hardest part. The part you have to be careful with when they're born is the very back, where you have, the middle of the back right here. That's where if you can touch it now when they're born, and you can see it's soft, that's the part you have to be careful with. So, make sure when your kid falls, forehead, he's good, keep him moving, because that's the part that's the hardest. It happens. Excuse me. You just have to try to watch your kids at all times, because it could take a split second and something could go wrong, and you don't want to be in that position. But if it happens, hey, it's not like you're a bad parent. It's not like it's your fault. You just it happens, So that's all I got for you today, guys. Monday morning. I hope your whole week starts great off today. Make the change today. I appreciate you all watching. Make sure you go to that YouTube channel. You hit that subscribe. Definitely got a huge interview this weekend. It's a surprise. I'm gonna look forward to it. It's got some good questions. A really great friend of mine. He wants to go ahead and we're gonna do an interview. So I'm looking forward to that this weekend. Stay tuned, guys. Have a blessed week. Again, thank you guys for watching this. I appreciate you all. We'll throw. Peace out, love.